Hey guys, I want to talk about a topic that I find incredibly frustrating when I'm mixing. And the idea is that imperceptible changes on a track can make drastic changes in a mix. So I want to just give an example of an instance where a very, very subtle change in a track has an incredibly drastic change in the final mix. And so what I have here is I have a drum track. On the drum track, I have a snare. Let's just listen to it. Okay, boring enough. So what I did is on the snare drum, I put this plugin called JST Clip. I'm going to turn it on now. And tell me if you can hear a difference. This is on. This is off. On. Off. Okay, so I would categorize that as too subtle to care about. It's making almost no difference to the sound of those drums. But that's on its own. Let's see what happens when we start adding extra stuff. So I have a reverb track here, and I'm sending just a snare drum to it. I wanted some reverb on that snare to make it sound bigger. So here's with JST Clip on. And here's with it off. On. Off. Okay, so that is actually a much more significant difference than hearing this on its own. When JST Clip is on, you have a more smooth reverb, a more consistent reverb. When you turn it off, the reverb one gets significantly louder, but it sounds different with each hit. You know, one hit sounds like, next one sounds like, and the whole thing just sounds inconsistent and kind of dumb. Now I'm going to take it one step further and add a limiter on the master bus. Okay, I'm not adding a ton of gain here. I'm just adding 6 dB. But let's hear what difference this plugin makes when it's on versus when it's off. So here's on. Here's off. On. Off. Okay, so that to me is an incredibly huge difference. With this on, I can drive this limiter a lot harder and not hear it pumping. When I have this off, the snare almost disappears and is just overwhelmed by the reverb. And the limiter gets super pumpy. Turning this on just kind of saves it. And again, if you remember back at the beginning of the video, we listened to it as on and off. It made almost no difference. But the second you start adding other stuff, suddenly the difference that this plugin is making becomes huge. So I just wanted to open up this topic of discussion, talk about times where a incredibly subtle change can make an incredibly huge change in the mix. I know this is going to incite all sorts of flame wars and stuff, but whatever, let's keep it fun. That is all. Bye.